Welcome back to your daily message from our Divine Compassionate Guides. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't, please do like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with all of the messages. Today I'm pulling from the Rose Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. And my intention when I pull them is not only to find out what our message is, but that this message will help, heal, and serve you in the most appropriate way. Let's dive right into our message for today. So our first card is the fertile void, inner winter, rest, patience, potency, secret beginnings. Our next card, healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. And our last card here for today, the rose thread, inner call, soul led, the mystic, living courageously. I can say that. Oh, as I always recommend, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, just let yourself get centered as we take a beautiful look at these cards. And let's dive into each of them today and what they each mean and look at what our message is. So we're going to start here with the fertile void. So this card is an auspicious card. It holds the potent golden seeds of new beginning and the aftermath of an end. Sounds like a lot of what we've been hearing, haven't we? So we're called to have patience and enter a state of deep rest, repair, regeneration, and acceptance. To let part of our lives, or even who we once were, metaphorically die in order to seed, sprout, bud, or bloom again. Wow. So again, this one's really telling us it's time to drop who we were. We're coming into a new beginning and seeding the new right there. There's often a letting go, a grief, or a mourning that is involved here. A death of self or what once was. So maybe those old systems or how we related to those old systems. The ending of things that were once important, which we're going to find a lot of these things that we used to think were important are definitely not important anymore. Relationships, jobs, identities, ways of being. The fertile void asks that we honor the endings to begin again. It's crucial part of growth, and the new isn't possible without it. So again, we're looking right here. This is really the death of the old way we used to resonate. Maybe we worked for the government, and now we're realizing that old system and who we were working for, that it doesn't fit us anymore, as an example. Or maybe we work in the financial institution, as an example. The fertile void asks that we honor the endings to begin again. It's crucial. In this card, you see the golden seed cradle the dark, the fertile womb of the soil. It's easy to mistake this phase of growth as one that there's nothing much happening. But beneath the surface of the winter soil, things have never been more active. So which is really true. There's so much going underlined, but we might not see it all yet. So the winter is a phase of initiation, renewal, and rebirth. When we're going through a period of inner winter, we experience this too. We metaphorically go underground by coming to a standstill and allowing ourselves to recover and rest. We don't realize it, but it's the most important part of our growth, and it takes faith and surrender to do it. So right now in this point where we've got to really just step back and be open and allow those things to start to break away. Trust the sureness of the soil. The new is being woven without you having to micromanage every move. Trust the sureness of the soil, be cradled by the great mystery. This is a very tender, powerful time. So really, this is auspicious. This is that time of change. Really be gentle with ourselves as we see these things fall apart and as we allow ourselves to go through that change. And then we come to our next part of this message. The healing is happening. You're not broken. You're an ever-changing part of life. Ever-changing, ever-changing, ever-changing. Change is our natural state. And the rose knows that you were never meant to stay the same, not to be a single shape, size, or way. You're not normal, and that's normal. You're always becoming more of who you are. So this is like when you embrace life in all its parts, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the bloom to the fall, the bud to the rose hip, you'll realize that healing is always happening, and life is on your side. No one is immune to the polarity of this human experience, and the only way through it is to embrace all parts of it, the light and the shadow. The shadow, and sometimes the pain, is the portal to our liberation. You're not broken. The healing is happening, and we need to trust in the timing of life. Wow. So again, that one is really, this is the polarity. We're probably having to be really turning inward to allow ourselves this moment to really change on that deeper level and allow ourselves to heal, because the healing is happening. And we're going to see some things that we may not want, but that is part of the process of us letting go, and the light and the shadow. And of course, the shadow is often the portal to pushing us through to that change. And then the outcome, the rose thread. So the outcome, the rose thread, inner calling, soul led, the mystic, living courageously. This is the card of the mystic, the one who's in touch with the depths of the inner world and the inner weavings of the world and beyond, way beyond. They're dedicated to listening to the mysterious voice whispering within, to follow their intuition and live in accordance to that, to living by being guided by the rose thread. The rose is a symbol of the mysteries. For thousands of years, the rose thread is an invisible path that the mystic follows. It takes courage and trust, for the path is different for every single person. This is why it requires courage and trust to the inner calling. And those who do so find great rewards. This card is a sign that you're being called to follow the initiatory path, led by the thread deep within. You may find that you're in a place of great change and are being called to have faith and gather up the courage to take the next step. This card is a sign of encouragement to keep taking the next step and acknowledging the courage it takes to live a soul-led life and honoring yourself for always taking that leap. Wow, this overlaps us so many times. Like, we've had this message so often, very similar. We're in that void. We're in this time of rest, recovery, the dark, just like last week, the decrease. We're at the bottom of this cycle. And through this cycle, this is going to allow us to come into the new and into the things that we have to create. And through that right now, and through this healing, we might be letting go of a lot of these old systems and a lot of these old beliefs, or even connecting ourselves to these old systems. And, like if I am not a teacher in let's say a school, who am I? Like, having to come to those realizations that if we are part of these systems that are breaking, that we need to step out of them. And that might be a lot of healing to come to where we need to go. But we're being called that through that, and through trusting that the healing's happening, and that, like we said, the shadow is when the most growth happens. So some of this darkness is going to really be where the healing is happening. We're being invited through that to come into that initiatory process, to become the mystic, to become that heart-centered person that lives through intuition, trusting your instincts, your gut, the higher realms, that you're being supported. We've had that as well. And then you're being invited here that if you can come through this winter, allow yourself those moments of that deep rest, allowing yourself to let go of those things, the healing is happening, even if we're seeing things that we don't want to see. And we might be fighting, but that might be the point to surrender, is to stop fighting, holding on with all of our might to whatever we really recognize and feel that we still need. And then through that, we come into that soul-led journey. That's where we're going to be pushed. So if you are allowing yourself to go through this change, this auspicious time, we've gotten this also so many times. This is an auspicious card. This is an auspicious time. And if you're allowing yourself to really trust that the only way we can get through this is trusting divine guidance, the higher realms, whatever we recognize with, whether we recognize with Christ consciousness, Jesus, other faiths, whatever it is that we recognize, and that higher spirit and that higher being, if we can recognize and connect with it and trust that we are being healed through this process, we're going to come into more of that soul-led destiny, and we're going to become the mystic, and it's going to become much easier. I've meditated on many times as part of my meditation, is that I can live through life with the most ease and grace. And I feel like this is what it's really saying, is when we get into that soul-led life, we're living our life through our ease and grace. So as always, I hope this will heal, help, and serve you for today and going forward. Have a beautiful day. Until tomorrow, namaste.